Hey there, my name is Ash Shukla, and I like to say namaste and welcome to Financial Chakras Podcast, where we bring you abundance through alignment. And my friend, today I have a guest here, and today we're going to be talking about three simple steps to grounding. My friend, many times we have so much noise around us, and because of that noise, it's hard to turn off that noise. And the question is, how do you turn off that noise? What can you do to turn off the noise? And my friend, that's what we're going to be discussing today and going in deep dive in a conversation here with my guest, Stephanie. And just so you know, Stephanie has a very interesting business. And when I heard about it for the first time, I thought I was personally extremely curious. So, listen up and let's see what we can do together. Okay, here we go. All right, my friend Stephanie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, welcome to the podcast. I really appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me.
You are so welcome, my friend. Okay, so those of you who are listening to me, I want to let you guys know that, as you know, my wish to the universe is that may it bring you health, wealth, and happiness, and all the abundance you deserve. And my friend, I just want to let you know that I love you, and that's why I do this podcast because I really want to make a difference in your life. And my friend Stephanie, I love you too, and my friend as well. Okay, so
I
here we
feel the
go.
love.
Thank you so much. So here we go. Let's get started with the conversation here, okay? Because Stephanie, we talked the other day, and I saw your business, and I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty unique. So thank you so much for speaking to me off camera for sure. And so I what I loved about what you said the other day about practical sanctuary, I think is such a cool name. Just so you know, in terms of like I've never heard it put it that way. So how did you come up with that, by the way?
My first business that I started was called Practical Bodywork
Okay.
because, yes, because I was a massage therapist. And one of the hardest things in a business name as a massage therapist is to have a name that sounds serious and professional so that people do not confuse you for a prostitute.
Mm.
you know, I, And they're going to confuse you. They're gonna do
Oh,
their best
really?
to confuse you, yes.
Okay.
I have a lot of stories about my days running a massage therapy practice in New York City and Mexico and Philadelphia, but when I decided to found my own business, I wanted a brand that
Mm.
made it not sound like a luxury and not sound fluffy,
Mm.
and I eventually hit on Practical Bodywork.
Wow.
And then the business evolved where I had been a fine artist for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of decades. And
Mm-hmm.
when I designed my bodywork practice, I had my art everywhere. And my clients started asking me if I would do art in their spaces. And I said,
Mm.
no, I've left the art world. I'm not doing that anymore. And they said,
Wow.
well, I'll pay you. And I said, yes, I do that. So I realized that this is what I was born to do, was creating spaces for people's nervous systems to help them heal, literally have the space help you heal, not just my hands. And I spent a long time trying to figure out what the right business name was for that type of business. And then a friend of mine, she says, Stephanie, why don't you just say Practical Sanctuary? And it's like, duh, because I'm creating a sanctuary, but it is a sanctuary for very practical purposes. It is to help you focus, to help your body heal, to help your mind heal, to help your relationships heal.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So right now, as far as the business is concerned, right? So how do you help somebody heal from within? What are some of the things that you end up doing?
I ask a lot of questions, first of all.
Okay.
Usually they're coming to me because they've been drawn in by something. A friend recommended them, uh, recommended me. They have a child with special needs. They're going through something. And so I have a process that I take people through, either in person or over Zoom. We
Mhm.
meet where they are in the space that is not working for them. and I let them take me through it. And I take a lot of photos, or I have them take a lot of photos. I ask a lot of questions, and they're open-ended questions. What's that about? Tell me the story of this. How do you feel about this? Because I have a superpower, which is knowing what to do in a space to help you feel the way you need to feel in that space to accomplish whatever it is you need to accomplish in that space. I have my own personal aesthetics, but I try not to let that get in the way because that's not my goal. My goal is to create a space that's authentically you, and I can only do that when I get to know you.
Wow. Okay. So your I mean, it sounds very interesting because practical sanctuary. So do you help them with their home and put it all together? And so, like, what are some of the common things you are finding that people are really not putting it together, or not doing it in the right way, or not doing it in the right order? What are some of the common things you find?
I wouldn't say that they're not doing it right. I would say they're not trusting themselves.
Mm.
That is the primary thing, that really what it is they lack the experience in paying attention to
Yeah.
aesthetics that I have,
Right.
but they know it when they see it.
Mm.
Because our bodies are tools for responding to aesthetics in our environment.
Yeah.
So they'll either have an intellectual idea of what they want and they don't understand how to make that work in their particular space, or they'll be in tune with what their body wants and they don't know how to bring the space in tune with that. That's kind of two different ways of saying the same thing.
I see.
All I'm
Okay.
really doing is taking a look at what's there
Mm-hmm.
and listening to what's going on with them, and then just making a few suggestions. Why don't you try that there? What about this? How about we take this away? And also using my aesthetic experience to understand what's going to work and what's not going to work. Because I just have a catalog of, aesthetic ability in my head. So I'm like, yeah, this color's going to work, that's not going to work, et cetera, et cetera. But I only will do it when the client can see it and approve it and feel it in their own body. I'm not going to impose it on them.
Yeah, yeah, and, one thing important you said in the dialogue is that you talked about, you know not just having a sanctuary is important, but bringing practicality into it. And so you're basically bringing in masculine and feminine energy, the yin and the yang, it's coming together very, very nicely. And you happen to be able to see that, right? So and you tapped into that, and that's a congratulations on that. And many of you who are listening, I want to let you know that sometimes you just don't stop and tap into your talent, tap into what you are already good at. So ask yourself a question like, what would you be doing, if nothing was a an issue, right? What would you be doing 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and what could you see yourself keep doing it, right? So and what are you really good at? Like, what are you really great at that you just do it by default? And I'm gonna assume that's what happened to you, right, Stephanie?
That is exactly what happened. What was I doing? It was I was doing massage because I was really good at it. I did not expect to be good at it. I just learned it
Mhm.
because I found it interesting and was actually shocked to find out that I was good at it. And that's what the world needed from me because I was good at it. That was the simplest way for me to earn a living while I was making art. Art was my passion. And then the art world pushed me out. It was very clear, like, there is no place for you here. And it took me a long time to acknowledge that, but once it was clear, I couldn't unsee that. There
Yeah.
really wasn't a choice. So it was like, okay, I am an entrepreneur now. I am working on, my healing skills, building a business that way. And it was my clients that came and got me, and they said, "No, we want this from you." And that felt like a miracle because it was like my clients were giving me back to myself.
Yeah. And, it's something so important as you're talking about this, right? Because healing from within becomes such an important topic that we always think about. We look for outside solutions to heal,
Yes.
but the reality of the matter is what you're looking to do, or how if you're looking to go forward, what's really keeping you stuck is the inner being and the inner energy. And so when it comes to your clientele is concerned, or when you find most people, what would you say is the number one hurdle they find themselves in when it comes to inner conflicts?
When it comes to inner conflict,
Mm-hmm.
I would say again, it's not trusting themselves and not allowing themselves the space to
So
feel
would you
true.
say, yeah, so would you say they're saying to themselves, I'm not good enough, or like a more
Or
of a
I'm not
thought,
good at
or
that. I can't see that. That's not
yeah,
my field.
yeah, yeah. And like I find that to be so true. Like when I do my manifestations and meditations and all that every day, I find that a lot of people just don't believe in themselves. So intuitively, they know they're right.
Mhm.
Right? It's like, I was having a conversation with my daughter. She's in med school, and she's really good. And she was like, I'm just not sure. So I said, look, just trust your instinct, right?
Mhm.
Just trust your instinct. And she started doing that, and literally her, like she's already in a top tier, but like it improved, right?
Yes.
Her
Yes.
score. So, but what I find is that trusting yourself is so hard. Trusting yourself, most people find it so hard
Why?
because
Why is that? Do you
why
know?
is that? Go ahead.
No, no, seriously, I'm curious. Why do
You're
you think
curious?
that is?
Okay. Yeah, trusting yourself is so hard because what it is we as a human beings are looking for what? Conviction, right? We are looking
Mhm.
for for sure way to make something happen in our life.
Mhm.
Definitely. So when we are looking to make something happen in our life, right? We want to be sure. We take the steps, and our root chakra, right?
Mhm.
It's literally telling us you need to be grounded,
Mhm.
right? You need to be you need to be in a still state. Okay. So and you're looking for the safety,
Mhm.
that hey,
Yes.
what, if I do this, will I actually lose out on something, or you're assessing the risk.
Mhm.
But when you're not sure, when you are not convinced, you're not in convincing mode, right? Whatever the process you go through is different. Everybody has a different process, but that particular process, so to do that, right, you have to go through magic, logic, and science. Now the question is, how do you believe in the magic? So very first step people miss out on is that magic, right? Is believing in yourself. And that's where grounding begins to go away, because it feels like it's a big Grand Canyon, or if it feels like a like a deep ocean, right, where you're just not even trying to get to the next level. And that's why like people, they get into this zone of like, I'm not good enough. And when that happens, right, it's because of this is not happening on this side. Like you're not having this conviction, right, that you can. But to create conviction, you have to have steps of magic, logic, and science, where magic is all about believing 1000% that whatever you're doing is going to work out. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you are marching it forward without doubting, without questioning. Because universe's job is only one, right? Because grounding mechanism number one, universe's job, if you really are looking to be certain about what you're doing, right, very first thing, universe's job is to say tathastu, God bless you, tathastu, God bless you. So if your mechanism is, oh my God, I'm not good enough, universe says, well, that's great, tathastu, God bless you. I must not be good because it's ancestral. All my ancestors were like this. Tathastu, God bless you. And then this coming from, it's not only me, but I'm only passing it on to my kids. not believing in myself and not being good enough, or I'm always in fear, or I'm always in anxiety, because guess what? I'm keeps telling myself is what? I am not good enough. And universe says, Tathastu, God bless you. And energy, when everything in the universe is energy, and energy has frequency, and frequency creates a form. And you cannot create this form, or you cannot destroy this energy. You can only transform it from one form to the other. Now the question is, what are you doing to transform that energy? So that belief, right there, the fear that it strikes because of the thought is I'm not good enough, and the belief is it's been for generations. My entire generations has been like this, and guess what? Now you have a conviction that says, you know what, you must be right. That
So how do you shift that conviction?
okay. So let's talk about that for a second, right? So how do you shift the conviction? Okay, so from a from a shifting point of view is concerned, this conviction, right? First and foremost, I always believe that you should always think about grounding yourself on daily basis. And then the question is, what are you doing to get grounded or stay grounded for that matter? The very first thing I find that from a grounding mechanism, at least for me, is when I wake up, I have rituals that I follow throughout the day, and I do something called daily wealth manifestation, which you see at the bottom of the screen. But daily wealth manifestation, that really helps you get aligned. Okay, now what do we do in there? I work with your you work with your subconscious mind every single day. However you do it doesn't matter. So there's a multiple ways to work with your subconscious mind, right? And then you get to balance yourself in 5 areas of life, and you have to celebrate your wins. One of the fastest ways is to really make sure that you start the conviction process is stop thinking whatever you have in your life, right? Most people think
Mhm.
about what negative things in their life since they're born, but and they think of positive things a very small amount of time. But what if you were to flip that, Stephanie? What if you were to flip that and say you have more positive things in your life? You think about that, or you talk about that, or you manifest that in a right way, and you slowly eliminate, right? So you're making good things very big, and bad things very small. And what most people do is completely opposite,
Okay. Well,
right?
that's my principle of space design. You've just assigned it. You've just described it.
Exactly,
You
right?
need a space that's telling you what you need to hear.
Exactly, right. If you are looking at the space as a, thank you, Karen, for liking, by the way, I appreciate you. um haven't seen you, sister, for a long time. Okay, let's meet up sometime for sure. So but that being said, right, as you're looking at this from a point of view of like a different angle, the one way to get ground yourself is truly, every single day, just get into the space where you have a ritual that you can follow, whatever the ritual is. Okay, whatever the ritual is. So step number first simple step, right, about grounding yourself is find your zen, where you feel like, okay, you're grounding yourself. For me, there are multiple steps I take.
Mhm.
I wake up in the morning and I do 10 random gratitudes. Believe it or not, Stephanie. I said, thank you so much, pillow. Thank you so much for my bed
Mhm.
sheet. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for my lamp. Thank you so much for my dog. His name is Teddy. He's the
Yeah.
king of the house. Okay.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for my obviously my spouse. And thank you so much for my temple in the house. Oh, thank you so much for everything. And I start that process in the morning,
Mhm.
and then I'll do something called, I have this water bottle that I fill up, and
Yes.
I take a the water has frequency, so I fill up this water bottle every day, and I have my I put a what I call masking tape on it, right? Basically
Mhm.
like a painter's tape, and I put my goals on it, or what do you want. And if you do this, your frequencies will improve. And that's the second thing that I do, right? So there are multiple things you can do, but these are just a couple of quick tips on
Mhm.
what you can do. And I do believe that once you find that, very first step, your step, I suggest that you design your step, right? When I'm down, when I'm going this way, Stephanie, one of
Yes.
the things I do, I say double happiness, right? And then and then
I
and then moving
I
from
knew
there.
someone who
Okay,
had those tattooed on her forearms. Sister Double Happiness.
double happiness, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
So things like that. Those are so crucial to make sure your day goes smoothly and make sure you start to wipe away. Because why do we get grounded? It's very simple, right, Stephanie? We get grounded because we want to. It's like a broom, right? You're taking a broom and taking away all the garbage that's around you, and you are really clearing the space for universe to give you what you're looking for. And that's how I do it. But I want to find out, Stephanie, how do you do it, my friend? Like, this is about you today.
Yes. I get up and I move.
Okay.
Exercise is absolutely crucial.
Okay.
I swim twice a week at least. I go to the gym another couple days. I bike if I have not got the time for that. I literally dance in my living room. I have a friend that taught dance over Zoom in the pandemic every morning for 15 minutes at 9 a.m. We'd turn on our Zooms and she'd give us some dance prompts and we would dance. That's that is clearing the cobwebs in your whole body, your joints
Mm.
and your brain. Movement really gets your brain going. It gets oxygen to your brain and it clears away the junk. It lets new ideas in. I can literally feel my mind start to download new ideas at about 20 minutes in. It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is what I have to do next."
Wow. Wow. Okay. And how has this affected your family because of this? Like, how has that helped your family? Like, hey, do you notice that?
Oh, I'm a single mother with a 16-year-old daughter, and we get along great. She knows her mother is a weirdo, and I know my daughter's a weirdo. We just coexist in our mutual strangeness.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. So when you do your rituals, does she also like begin to see and say, "Okay, I want to do it too"?
She doesn't do it with me, but she does her own thing.
Okay, of course,
She
yeah. Like,
Yeah, she asked for a set of weights for Christmas, so she just, like,
okay.
goes and, like, pumps iron in her
Oh,
in her bedroom.
she just wants to work out, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally understand that. You know what happens to me when I work out?
What?
I crash.
You crash?
Yeah, I go and go. I have to go and I'll get all energized, like really
Uh-huh.
really pumped up, right? And then in the I have stopped taking afternoon naps. Like I
Mhm.
don't do them anymore. I used to do them, and then I'll be like, okay, I need to like just in afternoon when legs hurt and hands hurt
Mhm.
and all body is aching, and then I'm like, okay, I need to rejuvenate a little bit.
Yeah.
So my salute to you for doing that, my friend, every day, right?
It's a cornerstone. I've been self-employed for 20, 25 years,
Wow.
and I need that structure. I need something that's like, "Okay, this is what I do next. This is just what happens," and being a body worker, I know I have my hands on people a lot, and it's the first thing I noticed. The people that exercise, their bodies are more functional, less pain, stay younger longer than people who do not exercise. It's really clear.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the first step is for you. The first step is exercise. Would you say
I
for
would say
staying grounded?
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great. What
absolutely.
what else do you do to help people get grounded or stay grounded for them?
I journal and
Really?
I set up a ritual around that. That there's a particular place, there's a particular time, there's a particular object. Either I'm journaling digitally usually, but I used to just have a book. But for my clients, they really need I coach them to do the same thing that you do. They need a space to do that, and I will help them create the physical space to do that. Just
I see.
clearing that space physically is gonna help them clear mentally.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you find that when you create the space for people, right, they are feeling more energized, more aligned, in a better, what do you find when that space begins to clear for your clients?
They can focus. They can
Mm.
focus better. I work with people that have ADHD,
Hmm.
and, people, like, just cannot focused. There's just piles of things everywhere. I had a client recently who had bought a new couch, but there was nowhere to put it because she was working on her filing and she couldn't keep things in mind if she couldn't see them. So she just had things spread out everywhere to the point where she didn't even want to let people in to move the couch in. And when I went to help her, we didn't touch the paperwork.
Wow.
We went to her sunroom and I shifted things around and I helped her clean it up and I put a few things that we hung a mirror. We just shifted the furniture a little bit so it was inviting to sit down. The furniture was actually preventing you from using the space. It was a little bit too big. You couldn't just go sit down. So all I did was just tweak it, clean it up, open it up, and then I just pulled a candle out of a drawer, plunked the candle on the table, and I said, "This is where you're going to sit and have tea."
Wow.
And I'm like, "That's your homework. Is you're going to sit and have tea and burn this candle, and you're going to maybe write in your journal, and you're going to make your plans." And it was transformative. She burned through the paperwork in the next 3 weeks. She just keeps updating me with more photos. Like, I did this, I did this, I did this. I hired an organizer. I'm doing this. She just needed the space to just feel okay. She was trying to motivate herself by making it so she couldn't feel okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't believe in punitive motivation.
No, and you know what happens is if you look at like anything in your life or anything that's really when things are not moving or things are not moving forward, because in the energetic world they call it blockages, right?
Mhm,
In the practical world they probably call it the clutter, right? And a lot of clutter
mhm.
that's there, whether it's in a space in a corner or wherever that might be, right? Whenever that's happening, you're gonna find that it gets harder and harder as pile gets bigger.
Yes,
you
it
know
really
eh,
does.
the pile
I
gets
mean, it's
bigger.
literally taking up mental bandwidth. Your
Yeah.
brain is using energy even just to pretend it's not there, to edit it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. You know what I heard one day, Stephanie, is that I heard that it's like having lots of tabs open on your
Yes,
phone,
exactly. Yeah.
right? Like
I
it's
think I
you.
even use that example in my book. Yeah.
Yeah.
39
So
tabs open in your browser and no background
no,
processing.
yeah, exactly, right. And you never cleaning it up, and you're just having it open, right?
Mhm,
Essentially, okay. And like I have to literally, like, normally I will have like between 5 and 7 tabs open. That's kind of like my rule. I'll go max at that. And I created the rule because I was finding myself in the same space, right? Because
mhm.
and I've gone onto some people's computers and they're like, oh my god, like they have like 30, 40, 50 tabs open, and sometimes I see like
That's what
even
bookmark is for.
two sometimes there's two screens like that, like 30,
Uh-huh.
40, right?
Yeah,
and
you
and
you can't
and
process that.
exactly, because that creates clutter in your
Mhm,
being, and that
mhm.
creates an issue, you know that creates an issue. And I think that it's important to to really clean out the space, because the more cleaner it is, the better it becomes. And you really, and then, they talk about, I don't know if you know about vastu or feng shui.
Feng shui, I do,
Yeah,
yes.
feng shui, yeah, okay. So do you use feng shui quite a bit in your
Not literally, but I use the principles.
you use the
It's
principles?
all just about energy and flow. I
Yeah,
don't I
absolutely.
don't have like the literal things, but the principles are the same. It's the same with body work. That it's meridians in Chinese medicine and it's fascial trains in current body work, but it's the same lines.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you are using feng shui and vastu, basically. Feng shui, basically. Correct?
Essentially, I am. Yeah.
Essentially. Okay, fine. So let's say that somebody comes to you. So clearing the clutter is one thing, right? What do you find? What areas do you find that most people are the most messiest at in their
It
house?
depends on the person. I've had some clients where clothes and laundry was huge, particularly if they had kids. That the first thing we would do is design a flow path for the clothes. Where do they go when you take them off? Where do you go when they're in between wash? Where does it go when it's clean? And you've got to create a spot for it, and then you've got to make sure it gets to the spot. But a lot of people don't even ever have a spot except the giant pile in the middle of the hallway. So
Really?
Mhm.
Really?
Yes. Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. People frankly have too many clothes.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
they do. Clothes are too cheap. That's an environmentalism thing. Like fast fashion is really clogging many places on the planet, including the oceans and the beaches. I try to keep my clothing volume down. I try to get well-made clothes that I can wear for years and that I can wear out, or that I can at least um, give away and they'll still be useful. But yeah, lots of people just keep buying clothes and they don't really even have a place for them and it just keeps piling up. That's a big
Really?
one.
That is a big one. I didn't know that. Okay. So that's an interesting one, but thank you for sharing on that one, right? Because when you're looking at dirty clothes and they're just sitting around and things like that, well, anyways, I don't want to go there. But that being
Mhm.
said, okay, what else do you find that people are, and how do people clean up that particular aspect of their life? Because I'm sure many people here, have that issue. Maybe that your kids are that way or something of that nature.
Yeah, I find that cleaning out your closet is a really good first step if you need to make a change
Okay.
in your life. I mean, your clothes are your identity, it's your physical body. So get them all out, get them into a big pile, try them on, see what feels good to you. And if it does not feel good, if you don't like the way you look in it, just let it go. I mean, I'm I'm not Marie Kondo. I am a fan of Marie Kondo. I don't use her same techniques, but I do believe in just getting the energy clear. And sometimes you're holding on to things like, well, I might wear this, or it's somebody gave it to me, or it's good quality, or I you might need it. It's like, look, just trust that if you give it to the thrift store or the Salvation Army, that someone else is going to use it. Or you can
Mm.
even consignment. I've sold a few things on ThreadUp. Like I'm very big on secondhand and recycling.
So when it comes to cleaning up and even recycling, right? When you are selling it to ThreadUp or even Goodwill or wherever they donate, okay, uh, I'm seeing it as they're actually doing something good in the world and is going for the good karma or good energy, outside and actually bringing in more space for yourself and
Exactly.
more,
Yes.
and that's what brings in the abundance. Would I be correct in
Yes.
assuming that?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, a lot of people are holding on to things because of a scarcity mindset. And
Mm.
letting go can be very powerful. If you're like, wait, I do have enough. I have four of this same type of shirt. Maybe I can let go of a couple. Or maybe I can let go of this thing that never fit me and someone else, it'll be the perfect thing for them. Like, really, in a way, it's about expanding your consciousness, not to be it's not just about me. It's like, somebody else can use this. Let's expand and let them have it. Let's try to get it to the person who needs this thing.
So when it comes to expanding consciousness, right? So you're finding that when people are doing this, they're actually expanding inner their inner beings. So when you are looking
Yeah.
at this space, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That is the idea. Yes.
Okay, there is the idea, right? Okay, so all right. So let's suppose that somebody is in that situation where they are really, just not, like really not grounded, right? They're totally
Mhm.
blocked. They don't
Mhm.
have any way to go. So in terms of like, grounding exercise, what could they do? If they want to just simple solve the issue of clothing, simple as that.
Solve the issue of clothing. I have people start with a grounding meditation,
All right.
which a friend of mine, Erin Owen, she's an amazing business coach. She coaches with Eastern modalities. She created me a grounding meditation about envisioning yourself as a tree. And she created one that's about 20 minutes long that will be linked to my upcoming book, but I printed it in the book. And it's just very simple, sitting on the ground and envisioning yourself as a tree, envisioning the roots just extending down into the earth and envisioning the branches extending up, and then allowing all the energy from the sun and the air and the nutrients from the soil to come in and, and process. So you are really creating a sense of connection with your whole environment. When we are not grounded, we're in fear, so we're disconnected.
Mm,
When you're disconnected, everything around you appears as a threat.
mm.
So what you want to do is to feel connected, to feel that the earth is holding you up. I had a
Wow.
client once on my massage table that gets on my massage table, and I just look at her back, and I her back didn't look like human. There were so many twisted muscles that I was like, I don't even recognize this. And I said, Sophia, the earth is holding you up. She said, really? She didn't believe it. Like,
Wow.
lots of us are just walking around as though, like, if we tense ourselves enough that we won't touch the ground, and the ground is there. It's going to
Right.
hold you up. You have to allow yourself to believe that.
Yeah. I mean, many people don't allow themselves to do that, right? So obviously they're walking around and look at this. You are also talking about nature. So
Mhm,
in the nature, so when in your mind, I don't know if you know this or not, but in some of the trainings I'm certified in NLP. So like in
mhm,
NLP, they talk about, right, there are there are three modalities, right? There are three highways. So visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So as you're talking about this, and you said it's very effective, and I'm going to assume it's effective because number one, visually you're imagining the tree,
mhm,
right, and then you're having the roots of the ground,
mhm.
right, and then you're listening to the sounds around you as a tree, like you might
Yes.
have birds, or you might have
Mhm. Yes.
leaves, or you might wind might be blowing through you, or or blowing around you, and things of the nature. So that actually helps you with your auditory. And kinesthetic is like you're feeling the ground, and you're sitting on the ground, and you're doing things. So that actually, I can imagine how powerful that must be.
Yes.
And I would love to invite you one day to one of my things, and would love to see that, my friend.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. So when you do that meditation, what happens to you, and what happens to other people as they do it?
It allows a settling.
Okay.
It allows a clearing away of things that are just not important. A lot of people, when they're really worked up, cannot prioritize. It really helps with executive function. Executive function is the ability to prioritize. Like, this
Yeah.
is the most important thing. We make this set of decisions first, and then we go down to the details. I see a lot of people that fixate on a trivial detail and make it this big, and then every detail is this big, and it's completely paralyzing.
Wow.
So first of all, just being grounded, like, okay, all right, I'm safe. The ground's holding me up. All right, so now what's the most important thing here?
Right.
Really, what are you afraid of? How can we make sure that that big fear
Yeah.
does not happen?
Yeah.
And then we'll make all the other decisions.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And like I said, I would love to have that meditation with you one day, and love to invite you to my daily Vast manifestation, and love to have you do one of that. I think it would be kind of cool, honestly. I think it'd be very cool. So when it comes to your business, right? In terms of practical sanctuary, how long does it take you normally to help people create that sanctuary that's truly necessary?
It depends on the client. My intake, I'll do like a Q&A for free. It's like 30 minutes to figure out, like, can I help you? Is this a good fit?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they decide, yes, this is a good fit, my baseline service is an eccentric genius habitat intervention, which I will sit down with the client for couple of hours, either virtually or in their space, take a zillion pictures, ask a zillion questions, upload those pictures, and then have a conversation in the cloud about those pictures. And it'll take me about 2 weeks, and I will create a plan for you. It will be, first of all, identifying what's going on here. What do you need? What do you want? And I'll check back with you. Did I get this right? Is this what you need? I'll put out some goals, and again, I'll check there. Is Do these feel right? Does this align with you? And if they're like, yes, okay. And then I'll just lay out the steps to get to those goals. And they'll be very specific, and they'll be in order of priority, and it'll be according to how you work, what your needs are, what your relationships are like, what your budget is, all of these things. And then that is enough for my client to move through and do them at their own pace.
Mm.
I For that first intervention, they pay me a flat fee and they have my support for a month. If they want to continue getting my support for months, months and months, they pay me a flat fee per month. So it's a deposit. It's a design retainer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
I have people who still text me, like, I'm thinking about getting this, like, and I'm like, send me a picture. Great. I will continue helping people for years, but just getting that first month right,
Mhm.
I'm helping people with a plan, and it's co-creation. And I'm also teaching them the principles so that they can continue to do this themselves, because this is a process. This
Yeah,
isn't a one and done. I'm not just going to come in and transform your life and go away.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm allowing you to help you create a process where you learn to trust yourself,
Sure,
and where you can
absolutely.
learn to then create a space that tells you who you are, tells you what you need to hear to keep expanding.
Yeah, I mean, and so the expansion that takes place, I'm going to imagine, right? Because they're working with you. I love your process, by the way, where you're working with them a little bit one on one, getting them hand holding initially, and then you're letting them be themselves, right? So
Hmm.
you're teaching them how to do it by themselves, and
Yes.
I'm going to assume your goal is to make them independent,
Absolutely. Yes.
right?
And that's a big principle of mine, is to care for someone is the opposite of control. That my goal is to give my clients, or to support my clients in developing agency. I learned that as a healer too. I can't go in and heal you. People heal themselves. I can facilitate that. I can help, but the other person has to be on board. Their nervous system is what's doing the healing. I'm coaxing and creating the conditions, but it's the same with design. I'm not going to go in and give you a design and tell you what to buy and sell it to you at a markup. I'm going to, it's going to emerge from you, and
Yeah.
I'm going to help you shape this by pointing out what I see and making suggestions based on my experience.
Yeah, I love that. And so the more you are actually helping other people, really getting organized, the better it gets for, for you and for them also, right? So,
Yes.
and then of course it builds that level of trust that's necessary to truly, help other people as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And Sandra, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. She's joining us from YouTube, and I just want to say thank you, Sandra, for joining me. And just so my name is Ash Shukla. You're asking who you are, who am I, and who is Stephanie. And so just want to let you know, my name is Ash Shukla. I'm founder of a company called Financial Chakras, and my mission is to help you, get aligned and create wealth of your dreams. And this is a podcast, and podcast is basically abundance through alignment is the title of it. And today we're talking about three simple steps to grounding yourself, right? So because it's so crucial to ground. And then we have Odi Koza. Thank you so much, Odi, for joining me. I appreciate you, my friend. Okay, Thank you so much. I do this podcast every night at 7 o'clock. Those of you who want to join me, I talk about different things. 2 times a week, I have guests, and then the rest of the time, I'm sharing ideas. I'm sharing strategies. I'm doing different things so you guys can truly benefit. And today we have Stephanie here, and she's actually helping you create a practical sanctuary for your home. So if you are, sometimes you're feeling like, oh my god, I'm stuck, or I don't know what to do, or I don't know how come nothing is really working out for me. And Stephanie helps you create practical space and truly understand what's really causing the issue, and then get rid of it, so that way you can create your space and start thinking from a perspective of zen, and truly get into the space of grounding. Okay, so that's who we are, a little bit about us. And with that in mind, Stephanie, I would love to help people get in touch with you for sure. So we will talk about that in a minute, right? But is there any other, like, any secrets that you could give to the listeners today?
Your body knows everything.
Mm,
Whenever you are not certain of what to do,
right.
whether it's making a decision about your space, decision about what you're going to do next, check in with your body. It will tell you. Your
Mm.
body is wise and will be giving you signals. And if your body's giving you signals that you don't like, a lot of times we'll try to talk ourselves out of that. And
Yes.
that's never a good idea.
Never a good idea.
Ignoring your own body's signals
Yeah, so it's like, it's a
can
very
always go badly.
yeah, when you don't listen to your body, it's like answer, like, when you answer in an exam. I remember in a school, you would answer a question and then you would change the answer. And when you don't listen to your body, your
Mhm,
intuition, I think that becomes
mhm.
such a hard thing,
Yes.
right, for most people. Yeah. So I love that, my friend. And I wanted to ask you some fun facts. Okay. So I asked, I some people, if you will, right? So I found out a few things about you. Okay, online, and I'm just gonna ask you. I'm just gonna have some fun with you. Is that okay with you?
Now I'm scared.
No, you're scared.
Sure. Go ask away.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing for you.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Good. Great. So last time we were talking, right? You had your business as a different name, or at least it was one more word into the sanctuary, right? So what was the, I would say that in your mind, right? How does practical sanctuary fit versus what I saw last time when we spoke?
Wait, I haven't changed my business name.
You have not.
I
Okay,
have not.
I'm so
No.
glad to hear that. Thank you so much for that. So your business name is
No,
Practical Sanctuary.
I do have another business called Practical Bodywork, but Practical
Okay.
Sanctuary is still the name of my design business.
Well, I'm glad because I found out online. Somebody was telling me about that, and that she changed her business name, and I'm glad you are correcting that you did not change your business name.
I
I
did
really
not.
appreciate that. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, I've
Okay,
worked pretty hard to brand this business. I'm not changing it now.
you're not changing it now. Okay, right?
No.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so Stephanie, you have a daughter, um,
Mhm.
correct? And she's 16 years old as we speak, right? So, and I'm going to assume she's in high school. Am I
She
right?
is. Yes.
She's
Yes.
in high school. Okay, all right. And somebody told me that she's extremely creative.
She got it from both parents. She's doomed.
Okay,
Her dad's an actor and I was an artist, and she loves animals and she loves to draw. She loves to draw animals. She loves to draw
okay.
animal characters.
Yeah, I love that. And I found out, Stephanie, that you are actually from India. Is that true?
I am not from India. No.
You're not from India. Okay,
I
so
am
where are you
not.
from, my friend?
I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas,
Okay.
and I lived in San Francisco. I have
Yeah.
lived in Mexico, the country, not the state. I've lived in Brooklyn, New York, and now I'm in Philadelphia.
Well, you're almost Indian. You're everywhere. Did you notice? All
I
Indians
would
are
love to go to India
everywhere.
someday, but I have not been there yet.
Yes, my friend, and I would love to have you when we go to India. We are planning something, but I would love to have you there. Absolutely, Stephanie, I'm really enjoying this conversation today. I really want to say thank you. for the conversation as we are talking about different things. And those of you who are listening, today we talked about three simple steps to get grounded. And I talked about my techniques. So I talked about, every in the morning, doing gratitude. And then I said, okay, take a water bottle and put your goals on it, right? Take a water bottle, put your goals on it, and let the water frequency actually heal you, right? Let this frequency of water, when you take a water bottle, put a water in it, in a clean bottle, and you put water in it, and you leave it overnight in your sacred space, and then throughout the day you drink that water and you watch it change your frequency. Okay, those two things I talked about. And I talked about, okay, and I talked about doing something when you're feeling down or you're going down. I said double happiness, right? And of course, every single day, my friends, those of you who are listening, every single day I do daily wealth manifestation. And if you want to join me, just go to my site, financialchakras.com. And that's what I talked about. And then Stephanie came in and I said, okay, Stephanie, tell me a little bit about, okay, how do you get grounded? And she talked about, literally about, first, she exercises. She loves exercising. And so my question to you guys is that those of you who are listening, what is one thing that you do so well that is not an effort anymore? It's just fun thing for you to do. And maybe that is your way to get grounded, right? My way of getting grounded, I'm a very introverted person too in many ways. I know I don't look it or I don't talk like
I
it.
don't believe you.
Okay, I got caught on that one. But that being said, right? You want to find your zen zone, wherever that is, right? You want to find that. And I think, Stephanie, you mentioned the workout routine is so crucial, because that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever time you take, is for yourself. You put your headphones on and just have at it. And I'm in my basement, and I do that in my basement, and my wife's like, he has lost it today. And it's okay. It's perfectly fine, because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to let go of everything and really get grounded. Okay. And third thing that we talked about, Stephanie, do you want to mention what's the third thing you talked about?
Oh, I do a meditation, visualizing yourself as a tree. The
Yes.
roots going into the
Yeah.
earth, the branches going into the air, and the sunlight coming into the branches, and the nutrients coming up from the earth. So you're connected.
I love that. I absolutely love that, by the way. And then the other biggest thing that Stephanie talked about today is cleaning up your space, right? Practical sanctuary is about really understanding that inner being is important, and so is outer being, right? And when you clean up the space, clean up your inner space and outer space, things begin to open up. Like, you might get more money unexpectedly. I have several examples of people who have said that. Am I right, Stephanie? You are having that as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So, those of you who are listening, I want you to know that these simple things makes the biggest difference. It's
Mhm.
not the things that you think. It's not the hard things. It's not the crazy things. It's
Mhm.
just you have lots of tabs open on your computer of your mind, your inner being. There are 86 billion neurons inside of your body. There are 70,000 nadis, which are nerves that actually governs you, right? And they are paying, and most importantly, they are giving you intuition,
Mhm.
and just listen to it. So next time you see a clutter in your mind, on your computer, or in your home, very simply start taking away one thing at a time. And that would help you get into the zone of grounding and opening up the space for abundance that you deserve. And that's our message for today. Stephanie, I would love for people to get in touch with you. And how can they get in touch with you, my friend?
They can find me at my website, practicalsanctuary.com.
Okay.
I will be launching my book very soon. It's
Yes.
called The Eccentric Genius Habitat and Prevention,
I love
Interior
that.
Design for Highly Sensitive People.
Okay.
And it's a manifesto and a how-to guide.
I love that. Yeah, okay. I absolutely love that, my friend. I would love to have the link, and then we can definitely post it on our social media and things like that. Those of you who are listening, if you like her book and things like that, message me. I'm happy to get you her information, and Stephanie will be on my social media as well, so she can also get you information on that as well. Okay. So Stephanie, I want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate you very, very much. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna take here do this real quick. Okay. And I'm gonna do something for you guys. Okay. And I want to let you guys know that, those of you who are listening to my podcast, I really, really appreciate you and I love you very, very much. My wish to the universe that may it give you all health, wealth, and happiness that you deserve, and abundance, may abundance come your way. This is Financial Chakras, Abundance Through Alignment. And thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, comment, and share this podcast with the people you know, or make comments and let me know what else you want to know about the world and what's happening. And yes, we will be bringing financial guests in here. We will be bringing other types of guests that are coming on board really soon. So I just want to let you know that this is not about just one way or the other. It's a holistic way of really balancing yourself in your health, relationship, business, finance, and spirituality. And I will be bringing different guests in different areas of life so you can acquire abundance the way you like it. And I want to say thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Namaste and thank you. Love you guys very much. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.